This is Jim Craig. Welcome to Coffee and Astronomy. I want to start this week by apologizing for last week's segment, not its content, but that I got it uploaded so late. I recorded it on the right day and just simply forgot. Just had a very busy week. But it does provide me with a nice segue for this week's segment, which is focus. It's one of the really critical things you have to do when you're doing astronomy, especially if you're doing astrophotography. Focus can be the difference between having an image that looks like this and one that looks like this. And even there, the focus isn't great, but as you can see, it's an improvement. Focus is pretty much everything when it comes to astronomy. And your telescope will have a knob that you can turn, and pretty much what it does is it moves your eyepiece in and out, either away from or toward the objective lens. And the objective lens has a very particular spot where the focus will be. And that depends on the shape of the lens or mirror. What is referred to the F ratio, the focal ratio, a lot of different things. It also will have to do with your eye. For example, if I focus a telescope to my right eye, if I look at my left eye, it's out of focus. It's because my right eye has a worse astigmatism than my left eye. Or if I focus a telescope so I can look through it, you look through it, things are going to look out of focus. So here's some advice, especially if you're going to be using a telescope with someone else. If someone else is going to look through the telescope and you wear glasses to correct the focus in your own eyes, wear your glasses when you do focusing. That way it will be pretty much in focus for everyone. Also be aware that when you're focusing the telescope, you're touching the telescope and you're making it vibrate. So make little adjustments at a time. What you may want to do is find a star. Point your telescope at a star, not a particularly bright one, and just keep turning the focus knob a little bit at a time, a little bit at a time, until that star is as small as it can appear. If it starts getting bigger again, back off and go the other direction. And pretty soon you'll get that star pinpoint, as small as you can possibly get it, and then your telescope will be in focus. Now, if you want to get a little sharper focus, you can use some devices. One that's really simple is to, on the end of your telescope, cut a circle of cardboard and cut two triangles. They have to be the same distance from the center, but cut two triangles, little equilateral triangles, so 60, 60, 60, the way we all learned in elementary school, and have one offset 90 degrees to the other. I'll try to put an illustration up here for that. And you put that over the end, and when you look through your telescope, when it's out of focus, you'll see those two triangles very separately. And as you get closer and closer into focus, you'll see those triangles come together until they form one image, and that image will be sharp. Then move that mask out of the way and do your viewing. Another method is to use a thing called a Batonov mask, and I have one here. And I made this one on a 3D printer, and it has these three sets of lines. And in my telescope, as I put it up and I look at an image of a telescope, it will make spikes from the star. One set will go this way, one set will go this way, and then there will be a set of spikes. So you have a pair, on either side, one on either side of this direction, one on either side of this direction, and one on either side of this direction. And when the telescope's out of focus, the one that goes this way is going to be off to the side. And if you go past focus the other direction, it will go to the other side. You want it dead center. And this is what I use when I do astrophotography. I use a Batonov mask. I have a bigger one for the 8-inch scope that I usually use. I said this one I made on a 3D printer. If you're patient, you can sit down and cut one out with an X-Acto knife. Knock yourself out. It's a lot of work. The first one I did was cardboard made with an X-Acto knife. And unfortunately, being cardboard, it got dropped in damp grass once and was completely useless after that. So for the 8-inch scope, I bought one, and for the little Maxitov scope that I use this one. There's also software that you can use for focusing. It will take an image of the star, and it will draw a profile of that star, and it will assign that star a number. And you just keep turning your focus until that number is as small as it can be. If the number starts to go up again, back down. You're never going to get it to, perfect would be 1. That's never going to happen because, well, you live on a planet that has an atmosphere. But again, you can get that as close as possible. A lot of different software packages come with that. There's a piece of software called Ecos, which is usable under Linux and Windows. I'm sorry, Linux and Mac. It's not available for Windows. You can get Ecos, but it doesn't really work under Windows. I use a piece of software for my Canon. I have a Canon digital camera. It's an EOS, so it's a piece of software called Backyard EOS, and it's got that sort of focusing thing in it. And it's made my astrophotos a lot better. And you can't really use those bits of software. Now, you can use a Botnov mask with your eye. You can use the other mask I talked about with your eye. You can't use the software with your eye because the moment you move the camera, because the camera is going to have a different focal point than your eye. But that's, just using a very simple thing like this can improve your focus so much. And you can get a Botnov mask, professionally made Botnov mask, for under $20 US. And again, if you have a 3D printer, you can make one. And they've even got designs online so you can adjust how big your telescope is and put in all the parameters, and it will spit out a design for your particular telescope. If you enjoy seeing these videos and want to help me bring them to you and get access to exclusive content, be entered in drawings, consider becoming a patron. For as little as $1 a month, you can help me bring you these videos. I've had giveaways. I've given away artwork. Occasionally I'll make something and I will send it to one of my patrons. There's a project I'm getting ready to work on pretty soon that will help people with the topic I want to talk about next week. It's called collimation, but we'll get to that next week. If you really just want to help out, then consider becoming a patron by going to patreon.com/planetofmystery. That's planet_of_mystery. And again, for as little as $1 a month, you can help me bring these videos to you, and I can help bring you things. It also gives you access to someone who taught astronomy for well over 20 years. So until next time, this is Jim Craig with Coffee and Astronomy, hoping that you get out. We've got some good weather coming up where I am. I hope we've got good weather where you are, and enjoy the sky.